Okay, hello there, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules this afternoon. Well, it's afternoon now on the East Coast officially of United States, so not sure where you're tuning in from today, but just thanks for being here. Looks like we've got a pretty good crowd going, and boy, I tell you, it's often a lot of fun this time of year, not only gearing up for the holidays, but getting ready for our flagship event in Tampa, Florida. As you can see on the title screen here, January 5th and 6th. It is both live streamed and in person, and it will sell out. We're on track to sell the event out live, so we'll talk about that. Of course, there's no limit to the streaming. Just talking about visiting in person will sell out. So we'll get more on that towards the end. This will be a rather short webcast. We're not going to do a lot of teaching today. That always bothers me a bit. I truly enjoy the teaching aspect of what I do, but more so just to give you a bird's eye view of what this event is going to be all about, and that it is an event that everybody can attend and even attend for free. So you will learn about that at the end. So it's a wonderful thing to be in attendance for, and it's going to be worth your time to go. So we'll try to detail that as best we can. All right, this whole event is about avoiding the big mistake, and talk to hundreds of thousands of investors, I would say, certainly at this point, maybe more. And the most common denominator for folks that struggle is that you just get buried by too much data. And these days with all the talk and banter on TV or the newsletters that you receive in your inbox, and, so many different opportunities through social media, and everywhere you look, somebody's got the next best thing to do in the stock market. And if you're not careful, you just get buried by all this stuff. Everybody's going to have things that they want you to look at and so forth. And what we try to do at VectorVest's, of course, is just bake all that down into our proprietary indicators, which is really all you need to be familiar with. And you'll know as much as anybody that's on the TV, talking about stocks in seconds. And so we're going to detail some of that. We're also going to detail some of our trading systems, both some that have already exist and also some new opportunities that are going to be at this event that really, at that point, you just got to follow all the directions, and, you should be in good shape. So that's the fix. The fix is to have a simple plan to make money in the stock market, and it doesn't need to be complicated. I've met folks over the course of my 23 years now, I guess, in this role, that have these elaborate trading plans. I'm like, how do you follow this thing on a daily basis? There's so many steps here, and my gosh, it's going to take you hours just to work yourself through this thing. It doesn't need to be that way. I mean, it can be really simple. It just needs to account for some very important factors. There's really three, and that's when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell, right? And so that can be easy too. Knowing when to buy is the single most critical part of any trading plan. And so we'll definitely take a lot of time at this show detailing the opportunity VectorVest provides in terms of letting you know when it's the right time to buy. Because had you been listening here throughout the course of the year, it would have kept you out of a lot of hot water. And boy, I tell you, this last 3 weeks here, or maybe a little more at this point, has been an awful lot of fun and really made the year for me. And I know probably for a lot of you folks as well. And it all comes down to our market analysis. And we're going to spend a lot of time talking about this one in particular, but also detailing some more aggressive timing models we have and even some more conservative ones. Because there's one in particular that's going to strike a chord with you as an individual. This is a nice balance here. It's called the LBRT Kicker. Okay, green light buyer. So we favor those green lights on the color guard, just like we have today, as a matter of fact. At least last time I looked before I was gearing up for this presentation, we have another kicker green today, and it's not the first one. It's a long ways from the first one, and eventually there'll be a last one, but the first one is detailed right on this graphic. And you'll notice that green triangle there, the first one was a great opportunity, and we didn't see any of those green triangles on the way down, right? That's what this system does so well, is prevent a lot of potential whipsawing where you finally decide to jump in only to see the market turn around and reverse course on you. So it does a nice balance of, trying to still be somewhat aggressive, honestly, but not so aggressive that you're super susceptible. In fact, if you look at the historical record, I mean, it's just remarkable how good this timing model is. And then when we get to a confirmed down, which we're a long ways away from still today, even though the markets are a bit overbought, that's the time to lock the profits in, take defensive actions at the very least, and then wait for it to recycle again, and you'll have another great buying opportunity. So that's the name of the game, is taking advantage of market up moves, doing so at a very reasonable time to do it. That still has a lot of tremendous profit potential, and that's what this system does so well. So it'll be a highlight of the show. A lot of the new timing system, our trading systems, and everything we're doing have really made this a focal point, because that is everything. Look, what determines how aggressive you truly are is really a factor of the stocks that you choose, more so than the timing, which what everyone needs is a good timing model. That's the most important part. And then you have another leg to the three-legged stool, right? Which is going to be the kinds of stocks that are more aggressive, more conservative. There's different approaches. That's where you really want to get into that wheelhouse of deciding what are the right stocks. Okay, so that's going to be next. Finding the best stocks for you. And so Dr. Delito wrote a wonderful book that he did update just a year or two back, right before his passing. And that was Stock Strategies and Common Sense. I've read that book at least a dozen times now, because there's just so much. It's so chunky and so full of tremendous insight. This chapter in particular, this is a pretty light excerpt from it, but it says good portfolio management starts with buying the right stocks. What he does in that, I've always appreciated his style, being such a smart investor and very smart business leader and everything that he was. It was his ability to simplify things and relate it to us in a manner that we could understand. And what he does in that chapter is he compares building a portfolio to managing a baseball team. And every good baseball team needs a lot of guys that can hit for average if you're going to win a championship, right? Very consistent. Then you're going to need some guys that can steal some bases, right? And those are going to be your more speculative type high flyers. And then you're going to need some sluggers, some stocks that are likely to just knock the cover off the ball year after year after year. And by that nature, you can be really a function of more than one of these categories that we're going to talk about here. I certainly am. I talk about it all the time. The vast preponderance of the stocks that I pick fall into the prudent or conservative category. However, I'm also not afraid to do one or two speculations and some aggressive stocks mixed in there as well. You got to live a little bit, is what I tell everybody. So sometimes those things take your portfolio screaming to new heights, and sometimes they're like a drag race or parachute just trying to slow you down, even though you're still moving forward. But they can be a lot of fun. And so what we do in VectorVest, the way that we can do this so easily is we balance two different indicators. We balance relative value and relative safety, right? And generally speaking, the stocks that can shoot up the page the fastest, believe it or not, are ones that don't have a lot of relative value or relative safety. But because of that, they're also the ones that are the least capable to do it in many respects. So it's an interesting paradigm there, right? Where, you're going to find a Reggie Jackson here or there, but what else did Reggie Jackson do a lot? He struck out, So it's a difficult quadrant to deal with, and generally speculative stocks on the whole, while they can have some nice surges, generally are moving lower across the page for the most part. If you go up to the top right in the aggressive, the nice thing there is you've got some relative value. You've got some earnings growth being the main culprit there for the inevitable rise in stock price over time. And you still have a tremendous amount of volatility because there still may not necessarily be safe, right? So the main emphasis for the aggressive investor is earnings growth, right? And you're seeing some of those stocks now that have good growth rates, but not great historical track records, absolutely screaming today, for example, and yesterday. top left corner, you're combining the best of all worlds. You're still looking for high growth, as high as you can find, but also with safety. And so generally speaking, most investors, that's where you want to land, is stocks that do have proven track records but are still growing at an exceptional pace. So that's what the prudent, and you can see what that tends to do. I mean, there's always exceptions to every rule. I hope we all understand that. But generally what that does is give you a lot less volatility and still a tremendous amount of growth in your portfolio. At least that's the potential. And then in the conservative category, safety is king. I mean, it's paramount. It's, if capital preservation is what you're most interested in, hey, and I'll take some 10% year-on-year appreciation in the portfolio and such, conservative is your playground. That's where you want to do most of your fishing. And so it just makes things really simple because we can sort by and search by these situations and quickly identify the stocks that are the best for us. Even if we want to mix it, we want to have predominant, prudent, mix in a couple other categories, there's opportunities to do that. And what we do at the show is we talk about some of the best scans and so forth to produce the best quality in these quadrants so that it makes your job a little easier in deciding where to go to find them, okay? And then we're also going to do a lot of talking about this new NPI, because when we put all of that together, this is going to ultimately give you some of your best times to buy these opportunities. When the market timing is right and the scans produce the lists, you can get a much better feel for stock performance and potential future performance by looking at this, what we call near perfect indicator. And so Stan Heller is going to be doing the presentation on the near perfect indicator, which is great because he's largely responsible for it and has really sort of mastered it and added a lot of fun elements to it over the years. But the general essence here is you're going to have something that we really like, which is called a low cross down here at the bottom. And when you see that, hopefully it's with exploding price and volume and such. Like, this is a kind of a textbook example, but that's a quality entry there because this is a stock that had been beaten up. You can't see all of the beat up actually. And then on that earnings announcement, it triggers. And generally speaking, you just stick with it as long as the green stays above the red, right? You can even, if you're more conservative, wait for the cross here, which didn't happen all that much later in this example. It can happen months later, depending, but kind of switch off and let this kind of, guard a longer term position for you if you get off to a great start. So there's a lot to talk about, and Stan will do a great job. This is another example with gold. My Goldfield stock is up huge today, which I was delighted to see. This is Harmony. Harmony had been the strongest runner in the space, and I haven't seen what Harmony's doing today. But gold is elevating as now you're starting to forecast in a lower dollar and everything. So gold should continue to heat up. I would think, but you can use something like the near perfect indicator to help you time all that and not have to worry about, well, is the dollar still falling and all the other factors. There's no one like direct corollary to gold. It used to be back when I started investing 25 years ago. Some of you probably remember this, market down, gold up. It was that simple. Not anymore. Now you got to worry about some inflation. You got to worry about dollar. You got to worry about all kinds of things. But what this does is it takes all that out. You just follow the instructions on the screen. So another good low entry, right? Another good switch off, maybe even into letting the stop averages control the risk. And then number 3 is going to be, some general tactics on how to manage all this stuff to make sure that you don't get out of whack in your portfolio and things can run awry, even if you're overall doing a really good job at following the prior 2 rules. And so rule number 3, let's build the portfolio right. We're going to use a dollar-weighted system. That makes it easy. That way you don't have to buy the 600-page, my goodness, I don't know how many, 50,000 word book by, I can't remember his name right now. But like on position sizing and allocation and everything, Van Tharp, right? But, look, it could be really simple. You got $100,000 to invest. 10 to 20 stocks means $10,000 to $5,000 per position. 5,000 if you're at 20, right? That way you're keeping your risk even across the entire basket. All right. That way, let's say you were heavily loaded in 80% NVIDIA or 100% NVIDIA. There was a time here early on in this rally where NVIDIA may still not have, I haven't looked today, may still not have hit a new high yet, while other stocks are ripping up the page, and it's going to drive you nuts. Okay, even though NVIDIA is one of the very best opportunities in the stock market for the long term, and to argue otherwise is insanity, but that doesn't mean you want to put all your money in NVIDIA and just sit there. You want to spread it out, find some other stocks, hopefully even in other spaces of the market that's the industry diversification part, that can keep your portfolio elevating at all times. And when we talk about that, we mean, kind of my overarching goal is every month moving higher. It's unachievable. I guess I like unachievable goals, but you certainly ought to be moving higher every year, and you certainly ought to be up more months than not in a given year. That's kind of what we're trying to accomplish with all of these things. And then in terms of simple and effective portfolio management, you're going to make sure you stay on the right side of things at all times by following that LBRT Kicker or whatever market timing model you choose. And then just make sure that your stop losses kind of rule the roost, even on these great stocks, so that nothing goes haywire in the portfolio. So generally, we don't want you to risk more than 1% to 2% per position. And again, that comes from very high achieving professionals. So in this case, this is Trading for a Living by Dr. Alexander Elder, for example, who I truly love. I've worked a lot of trade shows and things, and shared a stage with. He's really, really great. But if for example, so if we have the $100,000 portfolio, 10 positions, you don't want to give back more than 1% of that portfolio value. You got to be running out there with 10% stop losses at the very least. Those can be trails or otherwise, but you don't want to take more than a 1% hit. That way, if you take 6 or 7 hits in a row, your portfolio doesn't get into a position where it's very difficult to recover. So we go much more in depth and give you even some formulas and things that makes life a lot easier. But that's the high level perspective on that. Okay, so use stop losses. They are going to help you do things like this, and that's just go up the page. There's going to be times where no matter how good a trading system is, it's still going to suffer through a drawdown or two. I've never seen one that doesn't. If you folks have, you let me know. but this is accomplishing what we're talking about, right? You're going up many more months than you're going down. You're going up year over year many, many more times than you're not. And so that's the whole idea. This is VectorVest, at its best right here on display. And so this is a trading system we're going to be talking about at the show. This is another one, and it's a brand new one using ETFs. Same deal, right? Generally speaking, month after month, you're doing pretty well. And boy, I tell you, year after year. So, we're going to be talking a lot about how to triple fixed income. I'm not sure it's as much of an issue anymore. We'll see. Guys, inflation has a way to resurge, trust me. So everybody thinking we're totally out of the woods, you might be up for a surprise still. But, it's one of those things where, if you're doing VectorVest right, it's really just a matter of following the rules, and whether it's ETFs or stocks or options or whatever, we're going to show you a plethora of ways that you can get that done. I'm not saying don't do fixed income at all, right? What I am saying is that's not where you want the bulk of your money ever, and I mean ever. So that's that. All right. In terms of maybe the highlight of the show, I think it is anyway, the ultimate retirement solution. Jim Penna will be there doing this. And what we do is we show you how to pick the very best stocks, the safest, that also have very safe growing dividends. And we still realize that dividends, the yield premium has come and gone and seemingly is never coming back. I don't know. Dividends just don't get you all the way home anymore. So he's going to show you how to, ramp that up by using options, and also make the portfolio worry-free by using options, so you don't have to pay tax, and you can simply safeguard your portfolio with options, and continue to push all that off. All right. So we're going to do it to supercharge profits as well. Ron Wheeler's going to be there, and he's going to be showing you ways to leverage stock price direction through options also. So we're going to do a heavy dose of income. We're also going to do some instruction on just pure leverage that options can provide. So all of that is going to be wrapped into what you're about to see here over the next few slides. And all of it is going to be January 5th and 6th. It is going to be recorded. We'll talk more about how to access the recordings here at the very end. But, of course, we want as many people there as we can get live. There are advantages to that. Since I brought it up, I'll talk about that now. Not only do you have the opportunity to rub elbows with us, which can be a big deal for some, I would say the bigger deal is you're going to have an opportunity to rub elbows with our VectorVest Elite subscribers. There will be people there. I've been going to Tampa ever since I started at VectorVest. I was fast-tracked into doing all the instruction. And so really I started teaching at Tampa my second year here at VectorVest, and have done so ever since, unless I've been sick with COVID or something. Come circle back, there are people that I see every year. I already know who the front two rows are going to be, essentially, at this. You might say, well, why do they keep coming back? They're doing. Look, they like us. We get better every single year, and there's always new developments. I've already talked about many. We can't show you what's under the hood till you get to the workshop, but there's new developments, and there's things that you pick up on after some repetition. A lot of those folks, I asked them myself, why do you keep coming back? I already know how well what are you doing? But they're like, look, you're showing me this and that, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. But I always like to just, take a little bit of capital and allocate it differently, and try some of these new things out and see if I want to switch and do that. So there's opportunity there for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're brand new or you've been with VectorVest. There'll be people there that have been with VectorVest more than 20 years, just and more than you probably think. So anyway, January 5th, we kick things off at 9 a.m. I'm not going to go ad nauseum on all this. Morning is all about core VectorVest. It really is. And we're also going to be showing, a new trading system that morning that incorporates just core VectorVest. The simplest approach possible, and does really, really well. But that's what it's about. There's nothing fancy here. It's using stock viewer and watch lists, and maybe a little bit of portfolios, and that's all you need to get the job done. The afternoon will be more heavily focused on retirement. I also do a presentation in here called Situational Investing, where we talk about matching let's just say what it is. Situational investing is about recognizing what the market is doing and implementing tactics that are consistent with that behavior. So there is a time to be super aggressive. There's a time to go high momentum. There's a time to play things a lot safer. And then there's a time to go short, or go to cash. And then as the markets correct, they're going to recycle back up again. They always have, so they likely always will, right? And there'll be another great buying opportunity to go nuts, and then go high momentum, and then go safer, and then keep doing that over and over and over. And so that's what that presentation is all about. Day 2 is all about swing trading in the morning. And the near perfect indicator, of course, is a highlight along with the leveraging of the options. Jerry does a great job here with the first couple of presentations and talking about what swing trading is all about, but then also giving you some really good methodology that can be done on the swing trading front. In the afternoon, it's just about putting it all together. Wonderful presentation on doing income trading with options right out of the gate, but then just kind of wrapping it all up. So this is what we've learned. We can take core VectorVest, supercharge it a little bit with options, and you're on your way. You're on your way to stock market success, and reliable stock market success, without taking an inordinate amount of risk. And while it seems like the right thing to do from time to time, it's not the right thing to do for the long haul. It's easy to point fingers and say, well, you got some stocks going up now, that don't have value, and why I'm not. Look, that's not a consistent way to make money in the stock market. I've been here 25 years. I've seen these kinds of things before. COVID created a very unique set of opportunities for a very short period of time here, but things are going to be coming back down to normal, So this is what it's all about, taking care of you for years to come. Not so much focused on what's happening right now as what's going to work for decades to come from here, okay? All right, and so, in fact, it's now decision time. And decision time is I can continue to try to do all this stuff on my own, which you can do, or I can go to this event, whether it's from the comfort of my own couch or make a fun trip of it to Florida. It's a beautiful time of the year to go. I've got a lot of great ideas for you if you get down there. One of the best steakhouses in the world is in Tampa, Florida, actually. It's called Burns. You got to look it up. The dessert room alone, actually, you can just book the dessert room, as a matter of fact, and you'll have 180 choices. So it's quite a thing. We'll talk more about it down there. I've got a lot to say about that place, but you got to work on the farm to even be a server there. All right, so if I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. Good old quote by Abe Lincoln. And as it relates to this opportunity here, 2 days for the rest of your life. That's a better trade-off. I've sharpened an axe, and I've cut up a tree with one, a big one, in the country out here. And I did my chainsaw wasn't working, and that wasn't a lot of fun, even with a sharp axe, So, but it's the spirit of what he's saying, that's the important part, the spirit of what he's saying. And that is, look, to do something right, you got to be ready. And so that's what this event is all about. The prices have gone up, and they will continue to escalate if you're going to go live. So it's now $195 to go. And now full price goes up to $495, and people do pay that. Don't let that be you. If you're thinking about going, do it now. You got a few days, I think into maybe middle of next week, before it starts going up again. Okay, and it's going to keep marching to that $495 price tag. So this will be your chance. I'm going to go ahead and put this out into GoToWebinar as a link so that you can just click on that and attend from there. When you click on that link I just put out there, it'll take you to this page here. You'll see the matching prices and everything. You'll see that it's in-person VIP experience. All right. In terms of travel in, this is going to be at the Airport Marriott. You don't even have to go outside to get to the hotel. You just get your bags at the low level, get in the elevator, go up 2 floors, I think it is, go down a corridor, and you're there. So it's really simple to get in and out of. There's a lot of great places to go in the immediate area with Uber, or taxi or whatever. And so it's great. It's great. Easy to get to even if you live in Tampa and so forth. Okay. So there's more on the site here that you can peruse if you're looking for even more nuggets. And then the live stream is free. All right. Now, if you go in person, you get access to the recordings of the event for 1 year's time. All you got to do is go. If you attend the live stream and you go to an annual subscription or renew an annual subscription as a result of the show, you will get access to the recordings for 1 year. So, again, in person, access period. Streaming for free. If you renew or start an annual subscription, you'll get 1 year access to the recordings. We want you to be successful, okay? Otherwise, you have to pay for them. And I don't know anything about pricing or anything like that yet, but I imagine it'll be similar to the course price, $495. Okay. All right. Yeah. Questions. Now's the time to ask. I tried to hit as many high points as I could. Even did a tiny bit of instruction. That's borderline instruction, what I did with the NPI, because we can go pretty deep on the nuances that you want to think about there, which is why we're going to talk about it at the show. But now's your chance. Explain the free stream. So if you sign up for it, if you go to that website, VectorVest.com/stream and sign up, you'll receive email correspondence closer to the event probably, one letting you know that you're signed up, but then one closer to the event that will give you a link. And so whether you're on a tablet or a phone or your computer or your TV, if it can access the internet, you'll be able to stream the event live from there. Okay. I can't make it. I've been to VectorVest's for a long time. Okay. I've paid monthly for years. What's my... Well, it depends. There's a different monthly cost. Depends on if you're real time, or whatever. There are special offers at this event. And if you've been with VectorVest a long time paying monthly, you're paying too much. So if you think you're going to be with us for years to come, then you want to go annually, because at the real time level, it's going to save you at least a couple $100 over the course of a year, for example. So everybody, whether you're streaming or at the event live, will have some special pricing that you can take advantage of there. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. If you're on YouTube, I don't have the ability to give you guys links, but you know what to do. Just go to vectorvest.com/Tampa to go live. Go to vectorvest.com/stream to attend from your couch or plane or pool, resort in Cabo, whatever it is. That wouldn't be a bad place to attend the 2 days, sitting by the pool in Cabo. All right. Good luck, guys. We'll see you soon. Hopefully see you in Tampa, either live or otherwise. We'll be looking at you on the screen. All right. We'll see you soon, guys. Good luck.